Okay, everyone, can you turn on your cameras? Okay, may I know, class managers, those who are not yet here?
Teacher Gab will not be able to attend for today because he's not feeling well, according to the message.
Again, who?
Gab Kaungka.
Okay, Kaungka. So that's for the boys. For the girls?
Teacher, the letter complete. That's all.
Okay, very good. Okay, so first, everyone, good afternoon.
Good afternoon,
Good afternoon, teacher.
Okay, so for today, we'll just continue on our discussions. So, which is still on lesson 2. So last time we had an introduction and activities of our first part of lesson 2. Okay, so also quick reminder for everyone, if you're still not passing the activity, okay, so activities are still open for a submission. Okay, so it's important that everyone is submitting their activities. Okay, doesn't matter if it's late. Okay, so of course, if it's late, there will be deductions. Okay, but I am giving considerations or 2-day considerations for those who won't be able to submit on time. Okay, so as long as they have valid reasons. Okay, so if you were not able to pass it on time or on schedule, for example, you're going to your submission was late by 2 days. Okay, depending on the last day of submission, and then you have your valid reasons. For example, power interruptions, connections are not good, or it keeps on turning off, or your connection is out like that. For example, okay, family occasions, okay, like that. So you have something to go to. Okay, so I'm still giving considerations in those certain events. Okay, and you're still your activities are still being accepted. But if it is 1 week minimum late, okay, so consider that already as there's a deduction already for your scores. Okay, so but still, it is very important for you to submit your activities even if it's late. Okay, so I'm still going to grade those. Okay, so is that clear? Okay, so with that, let's start already with our, yes, Alexa?
Teacher, just accidentally.
Okay, so let's proceed on our discussion. Okay, so continuing on our discussion for today. So we're still on lesson 2. So I don't know if you browsed already your module. So I think we're only up to lesson 3. Okay, so because you're going to be, or you're going to have an advanced summative, and also there are other things that you're going to prepare for. Like for example, you're moving up. Excited. Okay, so of course we're going to have just 3 lessons. Okay, so for this one, lesson 2, so we have we already discussed our group box. Okay, so the group box, which we applied also other controls like combo box, radio buttons, and check boxes. Okay, so with that, we're we're going to consider, we're going to continue on list boxes and combo boxes. Okay, so in this discussion as well, so we're still going to differentiate the combo box from this box control, identify the important control syntaxes and Visual Basic, follow the control structures and reserve words, and create a VB form designs with appropriate set of codes. Okay, so before that, let's just have a review on what we discussed last time. So last time, we had a quick introduction and also activities on our group box. So again, our group box, this is a type of container whose properties allow the creation of a border called frame with a caption. Okay, so to add a new group box to a form, double click the group box item in the toolbox, which is in the containers control category. It has a border by default with a caption set to the name of the control. Okay, so the group box. So we already applied our group box in our previous activities. And again, group boxes performs as a container. And in every group box, there is a text on top. So again, what do we call the text on top of each group box? That names the particular category of our of the contained controls inside. So what do we call that? Guys, the text on top of our control box, what do we call that? You forget already? I just said this. Begins with letter C. Yes, Nathan.
Teacher, it's caption.
Okay, so again, it is caption. Okay, so the caption, it is the one giving name, the particular category in which the group box is providing the container to. Okay, so if the group box is providing a container for a bunch of fruits options, okay, so of course the caption will be fruits. Okay, another question. So up to how many group boxes are we allowed to use inside a form? How many? You have any idea? You can make a guess. Up to how many group boxes are allowed inside our form? Yes, Vaughn. Okay, so are you guessing? 3? Okay. Okay, so 3, that is correct. Okay, so but it is not only 3. Okay, so combo group boxes, we are allowed to use as much as we like as long as it fits inside our form. Okay, so group boxes up to how many? So you can have a lot of group boxes as long as it is fitting inside your form. Okay, so it does not limit up to a certain number of group boxes inside. Okay, another question. if I have 5 group boxes and each of those group boxes have 3 radio buttons. Okay, so they are all inside a single form. Okay, so in that form, how many radio buttons will be selected? Again, I have 5 group boxes, and each of those group boxes have 3 radio buttons in a single form. Okay, so how many radio buttons am I going to have selected? Yes, reveal.
Teacher 15.
Selected
Teacher
radio
5.
buttons.
5.
Okay, there. Okay, so from what we discussed during our first lesson, lesson 1, so radio buttons, they're only allowed one selection per set, right? Okay, so so there is an exception. If you have them in a separate container, like for example, a group box, so in that another container, you can have another one selected. Okay, so that is the radio button. Okay, so for each one of those group boxes, you can have one radio button selected. So since we have 5 group boxes, we can have 5 radio buttons selected. Okay, so is that clear? Okay, so are there any questions around that part? None. And of course, if you have 5 group boxes and 3 check boxes, you can select up to 15 options. Okay. So next, moving on, is our activity number 30. So this is name 30, which is providing us with an output of a group box, and inside we have 3 radio button options. So the options are red, blue, and yellow. So since it is a radio button, it will not accept 2 or more selections. Okay. And as you can see here, we applied already our group box, and the group box has a caption of color. Okay. So and in here, so question, what is the code that we use to change the color of our background? Okay, so the color of our form. So what is the code that we use? Yes, Ravel.
Teacher, it is the me that back color equals drawing that color dot and then the color that we want. That's all, teacher.
Okay, so is that correct? Everyone, is that correct? Yes, everyone, that is correct. Okay, so the code that we use is me dot back color equals drawing that color and then dot whatever the color that we want to change. So me, so that word or that code pertains to the form that you are currently into. Okay, so it says here it is form 1. So the form 1 is going to have the back color changed. Okay, so that is what it is pertaining to as me. So me that back color, so the color of the back, which is this part, and then drawing color red. Okay, red, blue, yellow, purple, green, fuchsia. Okay, so those are just examples of colors that we are going to, or we can apply in our form. Okay, So, and also here, we have our conditions. So radio button 1, check equals true. So it is checking if the radio button is selected. Radio button 1 is selected. Okay. So if not, we're going to radio button 2. It is going to check if it is selected because it is true. Okay. And so if these other two are still not selected, so that means the last one is, or the last radio button is selected. So that's why number conditional ready. So color equals yellow. Okay, so may I ask who is able to, or who is going to be able to share their screen? Okay, may I ask to display your activity 30? So who can open? There, John C. Can the display? Okay, there. So kindly run first your program. Is it displaying already, John C?
Teacher, it says it's already displaying on my screen. Sure, wait, I'll change.
Oh wait, change it to share the screen. Screen, not the program. There. So show result. Okay, there. It's red. Click on blue. Show result. Then yellow. Show result. Okay, very good. That's correct. Okay, and let me just take a look at the code. Okay, there. So same as the others, I think. Okay, so radio button 1, the check. So it checks the radio button 1 is selected. Radio button 2 is checking if radio button 2 is selected. And then otherwise, it will go to the last one. Okay, so that's correct. Okay, but, okay, so there can be instances that you do not have to follow this particular order. So if you have this radio button 1, radio button 2, okay, you can have it another way around. Let's say your first option is, or your first condition is radio button 3 equals true. Okay, so that means it is checking if the third option, or yellow, is checked. Okay, so if that's checked, so you'll just have to make this as yellow and this one as well. Okay, so if this is 3 or this is 1, so 1 that is red, so you just have to change this into red, also this one. Okay, so even if it is not the same as the others, so you have it another way around, but you're still following the logic of your display or your design and also in the program, because if it says in your program that your radio button 3 is yellow, then you have it here as red. Okay, so that does not actually make sense. Okay, so if you follow your logic or the logic of the program, so radio button 3 yellow, so in your program radio button 3 that check equals true, so color is yellow, so that is still correct even if it is not in the same order. Okay, So is that clear? Okay, so that is the beauty of programming actually. So there are multiple ways of applying a particular code or executing a particular code, but it will have the same output. Okay, so same in math. Okay, so you use another formula, you get the same answer. Okay, so that's that. Okay, so any questions? None? Okay, so thank you, John C. Okay, so let's proceed. Okay, so now, so since you already know how to change our back color, okay, so you already know how to do that, and then you have your previous activities to have a reference to, okay? So in particular, the one with the pop and the country song, which used check boxes, okay? So the check boxes and this our previous activity. So with that, we can actually make the activity number 31, okay? So that is why we're asking you to perform these programs in your computer as well, okay? So do it, study the programs on how they are being executed, how does it work, okay? And then store it there so that in future references, you may go back to them and try to see if they can be applied into your other programs, okay? Like for example, this one, our name 31. So it is a combination of programs of our activity 30, which is changing the color, and then the activity where we are determining if the user likes pop song or country songs. Okay, so it's the combination of those two. So we have our activity number 31. Okay, so did everyone got the same process of this one? Okay, who had trouble in this one? Okay, so I assume everyone got it correct. Okay, so the mechanics of this one is if you select one and then click on mix, so it will display the selected color. If you selected the other, of course, it will show the selected one, and both, it will mix those two colors. Okay. So that is the mechanics of this program. Okay. And okay, so there's actually one person who asked me about, teacher, what if there was no selection? Okay, so because actually there is just a direction for a selected one. So if you selected the first one, selected the second one, and you selected both. Okay, there's the direction for that, but there's actually no direction if you didn't select any color. Okay, so I think the one who asked me is Rayville. Yes, okay, so anyone else who thought the same? Okay, so I guess it's just Rayville. Okay, so that is important in terms of programming. Okay, so if you're going to create a particular program, so that is a critical personal characteristic to have. Okay, so the what ifs. Okay, so what if I do this? Okay, so what would be the outcome? What if I didn't include this? What if I include this? What if this doesn't happen? Like that. Okay, so that is a good characteristic if you're going to be programming. Okay, so multiple outcomes of your program. So, but still, okay, so following our mechanics or directions here. So the direction is to display the selected color and display the mixed color of the two. Okay. So I think okay, just John C. So kindly display again your activity 31. Okay, run. Okay, so click on red and then mix. There. Click on blue. Mix. There. It's purple. Deselect red. Mix. Okay, there. It's so the other options, that's still the same, right? Click both. Okay, so click both yellow and red below. Okay, so that's correct. So may I see the code? May I take a look at the code. There. So checkbox 1 that checked. So purple. Both are checked. First is checked. Second is checked. Okay. So there. So okay, so that's correct. So and also if you happen to add any more condition, like for the case of what Ravel asked, if there is no option selected, so that's still fine. But the one that I'm still looking is the one that I gave you. Okay, so even if you add that, so that's not the problem. Okay, so okay, so but still that should be an option there. Okay, so what if there was no option selected? Okay, so that should be there. Okay, so any questions here? None. Okay, so thank you, John C. Let's continue here. So this is the code that that I used. Okay, so anyone that had another method of performing the program? Okay, so I think everyone used the same method. Okay, so as you can see here also, so I was also aware that what if there is no color selected? Okay, so but instead of performing a change of color, so I just added a message box that no color is selected. Okay, so meaning no action would be taken. Okay, so it's okay if you do not have anything like this. So I just added this here. Okay, so that is still correct. Okay, so with that, any more questions? Anyone? Okay, so let's proceed already to our next topic. Okay, so first, this one. So its function is to present a list of items where the user can click and select the items from the list. So what does it pertaining to? Yes, JE?
It should pertains to list box. That's all.
Okay, so it pertains to the list box. So the next topic that we're going to discuss. So items can be added at the design time and a run time. Okay, so what's the difference between the design time and the run time? So during the design time, that is when you are adding controls to your form, changing its properties. Okay, so that is the design time. So during that phase, you can add items inside your list box. Okay, but in runtime, you can add items in your list box when you run your program. Okay, so that's the difference between the two. During design time, you can add already your items, and during the runtime, more items can be added while the program is being run. Okay, so the items can also be removed at design time and also at runtime. Okay, so those items, they are not fixed. Items inside your list box, they are not fixed, meaning they can be removed. Same as during design time and during runtime. Okay, so scroll bar automatically appears when it contains more items that it can show due to the size of the control. Okay, so the list box, it can have a particular size. But if the items inside or the items that will show inside does not fit, the list box will automatically provide you with a scroll bar to navigate all of those other items. Okay, so how do we add a list box and add its particular items? Okay, so first and foremost, you're going to need to insert a list box on the form. Okay, so that's the most important part. Okay, click on collection of the item property to open the string collection editor, and then enter the desired items and click OK or press the enter key. Okay, so let me just share my screen. Wait, let me open. Okay, there. Can everyone see? Okay, so here we have our form, and then let's just drag our list box. So list box, it is in here. So let's drag that there. So, okay, so the size of our list box, it will pertain to the rows, okay? So rows, so this one has one row, meaning it can display only one option. 2 rows, 2 option, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so in this case, it can display 5 options. Okay, so we already have our list box here. So how are we going to add an item in our list box? So first method, so we have 3 methods actually. The first method, we select our list box, go to the properties and locate the items property. Okay, so once you see the items property, go to the collection and look at the 3 dots, which is positioned here. Okay, so items, 3 dots, so that's the 3 dots, and this will appear. So in here, you will add already your items. Say for example, buy burger, rice, pasta. Okay, so those are our options. There, I'm hungry. Okay, so okay. And there, so that is what it is pertaining to, that we can add items during design time. Okay, so once we select on items, collection, and then provide it with the items. Okay, so those items we can see them already inside our list box. Okay, so that's our first method. Second method is to select our list box and then locate this small little arrow at the upper right portion of our control. Okay, so select the list box, then click this little arrow here, the upper right, and then this will pop up. Okay, and what you will need to select is the edit items. Okay, so edit items, click, and the same interface as earlier. So that is just another way of accessing this string collection editor. So we can still add more. Okay, and it will display again in here. So right after pasta, we had add more. Okay, so there. So that is our second option or second method. So first method, items, collection. Second option or second method, upper right corner, arrow, edit items. And then for our third option or third method is by providing it with the code. The code we will add is in a form load event. So what is a form load event? So form load event is that execution will, that program or that code will execute once your form is loaded or we run our program. Okay, so as soon as we run our program, that code will be executed. Okay, so to access that event, so we're going to double click the background of our form. Okay, so double click background there. So we are already in the event form load. Okay, so in form load, that is where we're going to add the items. Okay, so what it said here, we're going to use the add method. Okay, so this method, add method into our control. So the syntax is this one. So if we're going to use list box dot items dot add, and then the item that we're going to add in the list. Okay. So we're going to have list box one dot items dot add. Okay. And then for the add, we are going to provide the string to display. So let's say, for example, hot dog. Then let's add more. Hot dog, barbecue, palameg. Okay, there. So this is our runtime adding method. Okay, so this is the third method. So this is going to be added during runtime when we run our program, because as you can see here, so the items that we can still see is the items that we add during the design time. Okay, so it comes from the items collection. Then in here. And once we already provide this code and we look at our list box, so it's still not there. Okay. But once we run our program, so run. There. So the first five items that we added during design time, mango pie, burger, fries, pasta, add more. And then the items that we added in the code are these ones, hot dog, barbecue, palameg. Okay, there. So any questions? None. So you understand this part? Okay, so again, 3 methods of adding items. First method, okay. So in the properties, items, the 3 dots in the collection, and then there. Other method, list box, upper right portion, click on the arrow, edit items, there. And in the form load, so double click on the background to activate the form load. And we follow our syntax. So list box 1, that items, that add, and then close and open parentheses, the string name that we're going to add. So hot dog, barbecue, palamig. Okay. So if that's clear, let's move on. Okay, so that is how we're going to add items. Okay, so next already is your activity number 32. So activity then number 32 is just a list box that will display the Eraserheads song list. Okay. So it's just a label and our list box. So label list box, and this is our code. Okay. As you can see here, it is in the form load. Again, accessing the form load, just double click on the background of your form. Okay, so just to be quick, just take a screenshot of this one. Okay, and later on you may try it already. Okay, so you already took a screenshot. Okay, so if you didn't get to take a screenshot, just ask for your classmates. Okay. Next. Okay, so same. We're still applying the list box. Okay. So this is still a list box. So in this activity, so this is activity number 33. So we're just going to display for the labels, grade 7, grade 8, grade 9, grade 10. And the contents of the list box, it is the sections. Okay, so for grade 7, so it is Michigan A, Michigan B, Illinois A, Illinois B. For grade 8, Petronas A, Petronas B, Pinnacle A, Pinnacle B. For grade 9, Radiance A, Radiance B, Radiance A, Radiance B. And for grade 10, that is Sartre A, Sartre B, Rousseau A, Rousseau B. Okay, so that would be the contents of your activity number 33. And then this is our codes. Okay, so take a screenshot. Okay, then. Okay, so if you're ready to take a screenshot. Okay, so let's proceed. Okay, so next one would be our combo box. Okay, so the combo box, this is closely related to the list box, and it looks like a text box with a drop-down arrow button at its side. Okay, so the difference with this one is if the list box, it can be in any size, or it can have up to a lot more rows to it. Okay, so it can have multiple rows. For the combo box, it is just like a text box. So text box, it only has one row of display, but it has a drop-down arrow or a drop-down list. Okay, so clicking the drop-down arrow of the combo box displays a list box. Okay, so the list box within a combo box works similarly to a regular list box. Okay, so once you click on the drop-down arrow, so that drop-down arrow will serve as the same purpose of the list box. Okay, so you can still select and scroll down on other options. Okay, so how are we going to add items in our combo box? Okay, so first, insert a combo box on the form. Next, click on collection and item property to open the string collection editor. Enter the desired items and click OK or press on the enter key. Okay, so actually it doesn't have any difference from the list box. Okay, so they have the same method of adding items. Okay, so let me just show you. Okay, so let's erase all of this. This one. Okay, and let me just have the combo box. Okay, so this is our combo box. As you can see, it is a single line text box. Okay, so that is all that it can display. Okay, and our first method of adding items. Okay, so same way as the list box. So we go to, so we select our control, items, collection. Okay, so we can add again other things here. Say pen shop. Bench. Tribal. Is. Dialects. There. Okay, and once we added those items, okay, so we cannot still see it in here because a combo box only functions during the runtime. Okay, so but that is the first method. Second method, again, in the upper right portion or upper right part of our control. So the arrow, edit items. Okay, so same items as earlier. Okay, so let's just add another one. Okay, so let's add this. Okay, other items so that you know that we added them in different ways. Okay, and the third one is again in the form load using the code. So form load, double click again, and this is where we're going to use our code. So if earlier we used list box one dot items dot add, let's say DC. Okay, there. So if earlier we used this, okay, so for the combo box, we'll just replace list box. Okay, so list a combo box one items add. Okay, so same way, exactly the same way as the list box. But in here, we'll just change this into list box one. Okay. So combo box item. Okay. Nike. Adidas. Okay. So there are other items. So just to check if we have our options added. So I click this. There. All of our options that we added in our three different methods are in here. So in the properties, so we have pen shop, bench, tribal, dikis, dialects. So in the control, upper part, so we have oxygen, Obrani Juan. So and in the code, so Diki, Nike, Adidas. DC, Nike, Adidas. Okay. So is that clear? Everyone? Any questions? Yes, Althea.
Teacher,
there a maximum number of items you can put there, or is it just multiple?
Okay, so we can actually put multiple items, okay? So as long as you have your list of items, so I think there's no maximum amount of items that it can contain. Okay,
Thank you,
so
teacher.
okay, ready? Okay, so that is for our combo box. Okay, so that is how we're adding also items in our combo box. So in list box, okay, adding items. So same way. So items, properties, collection, the three dots, and then you list already. Second one, upper right part, arrow, and then edit items, and then you may add already. And then the third method is in the use of code. So double click on the background of our form to access the form load event. And then right after that, we're going to use the syntax. So if it's for the list box, so list box one, that items that add, and then the items closed with double quotation marks. And if it is in the combo box, so combo box one, that items that add, and then the items that we're going to add enclosed with double quotations. Okay, so is that clear? So basically, we just discussed how to add items inside our controls. Okay, so because that is the important part. Okay, so for your next activity is this one. So already this is 34. So same thing as 32. So in 32, if we use list box, okay. So in 34, we're just going to use combo box. So same options or same list. So LEC, Huling El Bimbo, Magazine, Smile, Spolarium. Okay. So you may still take a screenshot of this one. Take a screenshot. Okay, next. Okay, now for our activity number 35. So same as earlier also. So instead of the list box, we're going to use a drop-down list. So we're going to use again, we're going to display again grade 7, grade 8, grade 9, grade 10. And instead of sections, we're going to put the names of the teachers. Okay. So for in grade 7, we're going to display Teacher Mira, Teacher CJ, Teacher Abby. For grade 8, Teacher Racy, Teacher Aljun. For grade 9, Teacher Judy, Teacher Lane. And grade 10, Teacher Angelo, Teacher Girly. Okay. Is that clear? And then here are our codes. So take a screenshot. And then we'll proceed to your last activity. Everyone already took a screenshot? Okay, so next one, the last one. So this is activity 36 already. So for activity 36, you're going to use both. So it is list box and the combo box. So for the list box, you will display the label primary or primary. And then for the drop-down list or the combo box, you're going to put a label secondary. Okay, so this is our output. So for the primary, the item should be red, blue. For the secondary, it's going to be violet, orange, green. Okay, and how would it look like? So the instruction here is the button clear will remove all of these selections. Okay, so as you can see in the example here, so we selected blue and the option was not displayed. So we selected green. We click clear there. All of the selections were removed there. So select red, then we selected violet, clear there. All of the selections are removed or it is reverted back. Okay, so how are we going to do this? Is to use this. So first, in the list box, so since we are using list box items, okay, so in removing those selections, we're going to use this box 1. Then selected items, we're going to clear. Okay. So list box 1, selected items. Okay, selected items, then clear. Then for combo box, since earlier I told you that it is pretty much a text box with an arrow. So the combo box 2, that text, so the name is just combo box 2. So it might be combo box 1 for you. Okay, so combo box dot text is equals to double quotation mark. Okay, so that double quotation mark in the string means it is empty. Okay, so that is the code that you're going to use here. Okay, so take a screenshot of this and then that is your last activity for today. Okay, so that's name 36. So any questions? Anyone? None? Okay, so you fully understood our activities. Okay, so if there's no more questions, so that would be all for today, everyone. Goodbye.
See you and thank you,
See you,
teacher.
thank you,
Thank you,
teacher.
teacher.
Okay, so again, your activities, okay, just a reminder, you can, as much as possible, pass your activities, okay? So even if it's late, inform me if you're going to pass late, okay? So I'm still accepting your activities. Okay, so goodbye.